Thank you, Chairman Kelly, for that and for the kind words you said earlier. I'm going to verify them later. But I like this committee a lot. I like this subcommittee a lot. I enjoyed my work on it previously, and as a ranking member with Senator Cardin, we accomplished some big things, and I look forward to even bigger things with Chairman Kelly, who's going to go do what I just did, and that's vote on the floor. And I'll try to read slowly. But thank you all of you witnesses for being here as well. This is, as I said, this is a good committee. The whole committee is a good committee. And this subcommittee especially, I think we've worked on some really important things together, and I look forward to many more of those. I think today's hearing is a good place to start with that. We're focused today on gathering feedback and information from stakeholders regarding new and existing authorities that enable the Corps of Engineers to respond to challenges related to drought, to floods and water supply. And isn't it amazing? All of those things happen at the same time in our great big country some years. Additionally, the hearing will provide an opportunity to discuss the Water Resources Development Act of 2022 and help inform future WRDA legislative action concerning water management issues. But before we turn to that, I want to make a few comments about the doctrine of cooperative federalism and the state's well-established rights regarding water management. Now, I happen to think that states' rights have been overlooked in lots of areas, not just water management, but it's probably as good a display of some of those, some of the imbalance that we should not see in cooperative federalism. Regarding the Western states, Congress and the courts have given clear and consistent deference to states for water allocation through the 1944 Flood Control Act and the Water Supply Act of 1958. History matters. Despite this, the Corps has pursued various regulatory actions over the years and the decades, namely their proposed water supply rule in 2016, threatening to erode Western states' authority to manage water resources within their boundaries, that is to say, the state's boundaries. Cognizant of this continued state and federal conflict over water management, Congress established the Western Water Cooperative Committee through the Water Resources Development Act of 2022. It was harder to do than I thought it would be. But the committee through this will provide a platform of dialogue for Western states to work out water appropriation and other issues with the Corps. And I'm hopeful this committee will help bring about a more cohesive state-federal partnership relating to water management. This committee can serve as a first step towards improving the existing partnership to better account for states' rights and better resemble the model of cooperative federalism envisioned by Congress. And I think one of the things about this committee that we're forming, it recognizes two important facts. One is that water belongs to each of us when it's in our state, but it belongs to all of us collectively. But it also recognizes that while not every state is the same, the halves of our country are very different. The West is different than the East. West Mississippi, West Missouri is different than East. So I'm anxious to see how well the committee works, and it's going to work as well as I guess the members of it apply themselves. In addition, I want to also take a moment and briefly touch on the Snake Creek embankment issue in my state. In 2007, the Corps realized they were experiencing some foundational problems with the embankment. The relief wells that they put in place were not properly maintained over the years. Instead of physically fixing the problem to prevent embankment failure, the Corps decided to implement a water control plan that would limit the pool differential between Lake Sakakawea and Lake Audubon. And only people from North Dakota would know what I'm saying when I do this. The state and others objected to this change as it would inhibit water supply to what's called the McCluskey Canal, among other concerns. I worked hard to secure a provision in WRDA 2020 requiring the Corps to reevaluate structural and operational alternatives to reduce risk of an embankment failure and properly account for the economic benefits provided by the embankment. And boy, aren't there economic benefits or economic consequences if there's adequate water or not adequate water. Water is pretty critical to economic opportunity. The Corps has since conducted a dam modification study and completed the associated draft environmental assessment earlier this year. The state and Garrison Diversion Conservancy District have raised concerns with the Corps recommend plan, primarily as it fails to fully account for the economic impacts associated with the entire embankment. And I look forward to getting into that a little bit today. I've since communicated with General Spellman and urged the Corps to take an all-encompassing perspective on the importance of the embankment, fully recognizing its integral role in ensuring water supply to roughly 50% of North Dakota's population and the billions of dollars worth of development that are on the line due to a need for consistent water supply. This issue is simply too important for the future of the state to get it wrong. So I look forward to speaking more with our witnesses and getting valuable feedback on a variety of water management issues, and thank you to all of our witnesses for being here today. I know you all bring tremendous expertise and certainly a lot of local and regional understanding of the importance of this issue. Okay, so now I get to introduce my witnesses. I call them my witnesses. Is it okay if I call them my witnesses? You're all of our witnesses, and you're all wonderful. But it's an important hearing, and it's my honor to introduce Dr. Andrea Travnicek, Director of the North Dakota Department of Water Resources, and Jennifer Verliger, Chair of the Western States Water Council, as witnesses. Thank you both for being here. Dr. Travnicek, we call her Trav. You all will eventually. It's easier to pronounce and spell, but it is Dr. Andrea Travnicek. She was appointed by Governor Burgum in 2021 to serve as the Director of the North Dakota Department of Water Resources. In this role, and it's important to focus on that because she's had lots of very important roles. She oversees the management of water resources for the state through water development, regulatory responsibilities, planning, education, and safety. Previously, Dr. Travnicek was the Director of the North Dakota Parks and Recreation Department, and also worked in various roles at the United States Department of Interior, including serving in the Water and Science Hallway. She's intimately familiar with Western water issues and the impacts federal policy have on states. Further, Dr. Travnicek has a PhD in Natural Resource Management, Communication from North Dakota State University. We'll leave the date out. And she was recently given, although you're so young, and she was recently given the 2023 Horizon Award, which honors NDSU graduates doing outstanding work in community service. Congratulations on that. She certainly keeps herself busy. She testified earlier this morning at the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, and we're grateful to have you here today. Jennifer Verliger is testifying before this committee today as Chair of the Western States Water Council. However, she is also a North Dakota Assistant Attorney General and provides general counsel and litigation services to the North Dakota Department of Water Resources and State Water Commission. A lot of work. Ms. Verliger has represented the state on water issues in the United States Supreme Court, federal appellate courts, North Dakota Supreme Court, state and federal district courts, and Office of Administrative Hearings in several areas, including interstate rivers, federalism, water rights, water appropriation, drainage, and sovereign lands. It's hard to imagine a more important, frankly, legal job than that one. Ms. Verliger sits on the National Water Supply Alliance Board and is a member of the Conference of Western Attorneys General. She has been an excellent resource to me and my staff. They talk about you a lot, Jennifer, and as we've worked through water supply and water law conflicts with the Corps. Thank you both, Andrea and Jennifer, for being here today. I value this opportunity to gather input from all of you and your insights, and look forward to a meaningful discussion on water management